You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network, the home of the Options Podcast. For more quality options programs, visit theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app available in the iTunes and Google Play stores. Select programs are also available via live stream at mixlr.com/options-insider. That's mixlr.com/options-insider. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, stocktwits.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions at theoptionsinsider.com. And now, it's time for the show that breaks down the options market from unusual activity alerts to market analysis, strategy overviews, listener questions, and much more. If it involves puts and calls, then our all-star panel will break it down. It's time to hit the Option Block with your host, Mark Longo from the Options Insider Media Group, and co-hosts, Uncle Mike Tusaw from St. Charles Wealth Management, along with Andrew the Rock Lobster Giovinazzi from OptionFit.com. Want a trading platform that was built by option traders for options traders? Then join Tasty Trade, Investopedia's best platform for options trading 2026. Get advanced charting with 100-plus indicators, options backtesting, a pre-built strategy selector, and more with your account. Join Tasty Trade today and earn a double commission rebate up to $3,000 total on your stock and ETF options trades for 30 days. Visit tastytrade.com/insider for more info. All applicable regulatory, exchange, and clearing fees still apply. Options involve risks and are not suitable for all investors. Learn more about Tasty Trade promo terms and conditions at tastytrade.com/double. Offer expires May 31st, 2026. Tasty Trade Incorporated is a registered broker-dealer and member of FINRA, NFA, and SIPC. And now, get ready to hit the Option Block.
All right, everybody. That music means we are back. It is time once again for a little program we like to call around these parts of the Option Block. My name, of course, Mark Longo from the Options Insider Radio Network. Your home now for 19 plus years of options podcast goodness. At least we think it's goodness. We hope you think it's goodness too. If you don't, blame the Rock Lobster. Don't blame us here. But if I sound a little bit different, it's because I am coming to you from the Southern studio, not the exact same Southern studio that will be coming at you from the rest of the week. I will be setting up our studio at the Options Industry Conference starting tomorrow. So should be a lot of fun people rotating through that. A lot of our live friends hopefully will be able to join us live as well, depending on the connectivity situation at these events. But you all will get it, of course, on demand. The pro folks will have access to it, and then we'll put it out to the rest of the network, along with, of course, all of the panels from the show. So once again, we give you folks just carte blanche access to everything over there at the conference. So good stuff. If you want to get early access to all that fun and join the live, ask questions, all that fun, theoptionsinsider.com/pro. Pretty cool stuff. We had Tom Sosnoff in there last week tackling your questions about this market and a whole bunch more. A lot of fun going on. Options oddities every Friday, all kinds of giveaways. We just gave away a new copy of Dan Passarelli's brand new book, along with a whole bunch of other stuff in the latest April Pro Trading Crate. Get your name in the hat for the May Pro Trading Crate, theoptionsinsider.com/pro. But now it's time for me to welcome on my cohorts, my partners in all things trivia crime, because it's that time, listeners. Yes, first we go out to the far, far flung shores of the U.S., where we are joined by the rockingest of lobsters, Mr. Andrew Giovinazzi from OptionPit.com. Then we dial a wheel all the way back to Chi-Town, where I am not, and then we go outside of Chi-Town a bit, about an hour, to a farmland known as St. Charles, where we are joined once again by the uncleest of Mikes, Mr. Uncle Mike Tusaw. I introduce them now because they don't have time to talk. They are gearing up for the 80s Trivia Challenge. Here we go. All right, everybody. Welcome to the 80s Trivia Challenge. I did not travel with my massive box of 80s Trivial Pursuit cards. Surprising, I didn't want to shove a bunch of those into my carry-on, but I do have a couple vintage 80s questions ready to go for both of you. So get your hands on your buzzers, listeners, and listeners can play at home too. Get your hands on the buzzers, gentlemen, because here we go. We're going to go geography because it's a fun one. And the science foray last week left a lot of people underwhelmed. What was something with dogs?
The
tongues?
chow.
That,
I'll never forget it.
That was a terrible science question. That almost burned. That almost burned the entire green category for me forever. But we'll see.
What did it have, a black tongue or something?
Yeah, which one doesn't have a pink tongue? It has a blue. That was horrible. Horrible question. So we'll see if they can make a comeback with the blue category, aka geography. All right, listeners, put your thinking caps on. Here we go. What is the largest Japanese island?
Buzz.
All right, Rock Lobster in there first. Yes. Well done. Wow, points for Honshu. How do you know so much about Japanese island geography, sir?
Well, I think the only other thing I know is I think Hokkaido is the snow island, I believe. And Honshu is just, I don't know why, it's just in my head, but there's Kia, yeah, it would take me to name wild, but just Honshu's the biggest.
Here he claims the lead.
Yeah, there you go. A lot of people will probably throw
what, the listeners got to love this back and forth. It's been,
we got a good match going this year.
It's a match. It's a heater going into May. May the 4th be with you guys. I know you got you go to the Option Insider, and Longo's got he's got his Star Wars and collection figurines everywhere. It's like going into a toy store or something like that.
I have no idea what you're referring to, sir. But I may or may not be adding more when this 80s Motu Fest comes out in about a month, which I do believe your work wife will be coming to Chicago. We're going to go to a midnight screening together, just covered head to toe in Masters popcorn buckets. Nice. I digress. I almost did turn this into an 80s wrestling trivia because Uncle Mike and I were talking about the Hulk Hogan documentary before you joined us. That could have been fun, but I figured that wouldn't have been fair to everyone, even though it would have been fun to do some Cherry Bolea trivia as we keep rolling right on into the trading block.
It's time to break down the latest topics, trades, and trends in the world of options. It's time for the trading block.
Everybody, welcome to the trading block, the portion of the show where we break down what the heck is trading out there, what the heck is lighting up these markets. And it's another weird one, listeners, where I guess the Strait of Hormuz matters again. I don't know. I thought we had put all this behind us about nearly a month ago when we decided once the missiles stopped flying that it was just buy this market with both hands, up about 12%. That certainly seemed like we were all in. We had forgotten about the war. We had forgotten about any sort of rate cuts or anything like that. Even the prospect of rate hikes, none of that mattered. It was all about building massive server farms in rural Kentucky because that's where all the money is going. And that was the case last week, $700 billion in AI spending lifting the market. Today, of course, apparently Iran says they're shooting at us, but we say they're not. And clearly the ceasefire is dicey, to put it mildly. We say we're going to escort ships, but not really escort them because that would be dangerous. And we can't really do that because we don't control the Strait, even though we're the most powerful military on the planet. So instead, we're going to just guide them and tell ships where to go. And ships are not doing that because that's insane. So there's a lot going on out there. All that spooking the market today. When we kicked off the show, the S&P off about 0.5%, Dow off about 1%, NASDAQ off about 1/3%. VIX cash had been flirting with a 19 handle. That's up about 1.5 points. As we're kicking off the show proper, it's come back a little bit to about 18.75, still up about 1.25 points. So VIX can go up in this post-ceasefire environment. I know a lot of people didn't think that was possible, but it is possible. VVIX back up to the par strike at 100, up about 5 points from where it was on the show last week. But a lot to unpack there. Let's go out with our surprise bit of our surprise 80s Japanese geography winner, known as the Rock Lobster. You definitely threw. I thought for sure I was going to have to come up with a secondary question for that one. I did not think anyone was going to get Honshu. So well done, sir. I give you points for that. If you want to have any reminiscences of your favorite Japanese island, by all means, have at it. And then B, what's catching your eye in this market, sir?
I think Hokkaido is the snow island. I want to go there one winter and ski there. That's my bucket list thing. I don't really care about going anywhere, to be honest. But I would like to check that place out once. I hear there's lots of snow, lots and lots and lots of snow. And maybe eat some Japanese food in Japan. Just give it a try. I'd like to do that once. One of these days, maybe I'll go out and do that. But then I have to I'd have to leave the compound, and if it's more than once a week, I get a little bit grumpy about that. But as far as the market goes, this Strait of Hormuz, I guess when we're in control, this event will be over, and clearly we are. Who knows what we are? We're in control. We're not in control. Iran's in control. They're not in, I don't know. So, the market though is clearly like, just this AI spend. I know when I saw the ultimate where this is why you become investors in general. So I read something, about, Nokia. Remember the old cool Nokia handset phone company? Okay. Somehow they're selling hardware to Anduril, which is the kind of the hot pre-IPO drone and IT company. So Nokia now is kind of getting into the data center hardware business thing. So yeah, a big part of Nokia's business has shifted. So Nokia stayed around long enough to shift into a new line of work. So like that's a stock that was $4 last year is $13 now. So it's not always just, the SanDisks or or Nebus or any of these other companies that are just flying. There's like companies can delve into these areas. Look at Caterpillar making turbines. Caterpillar was a turbine maker. Now they're making turbines for data centers, for local power and stuff like that. So Caterpillar up 100% in a year. So again, like there are a lot of reasons. There's always reasons, as we all know, being former market makers here, to be concerned. The Strait of Hormuz thing is definitely, we, I guess, control it, but we don't control it. So I think it's the easiest way to put it. We have a lot of assets there, but still this fluid situation is fluid. And until the market is satisfied with it, we're going to keep having days like today. On the other hand, the AI is going forward. And right now, the big inflation worry is just the price of oil is going up. It seems to have stabilized, but I guess the most important thing is the price of oil has to be lower by the midterms. And at this rate, it might not be. It might take a while. But also, the S&P 500 could be at 7,500 by then too. So just everybody should be mindful. Like, you want to, if you want to be a stock investor, surprises come in good and bad forms. And I think that's kind of the market we have right now. All the Mag 7 just reported just enormous earnings. They're going to, like Mark said, spend $700 billion because they see something here. And it's either going to waste all this money or it's going to turn into something else. Now, anecdotally, probably many of you have young kids getting out of college that are looking at jobs in like AI services, AI this, AI that. So again, you never know where the next boom is going to be, but right now the market seems to be telling us the boom is in AI, robotics, drones, and things of that nature. And at least for right now, it doesn't look like it wants to stop.
It does not look like it wants to stop either. You're right. And someone who's doing a lot of college tours as we speak, you're right. AI, the hot buzzword. They're all trying to figure out what the hell they're doing. Do we have an AI major? Do we avoid it? One thing I can tell you, CS enrollment's going down. Nobody's going into that. Used to be the hottest area, right? And no one's going into CS these days. It's all, what can you do for me on the AI front? But I digress. Out to Uncle Mike, who's a living, breathing embodiment of all things AI. When I think the epicenter of AI. I think perhaps the poultry building at the Kane County Fairgrounds in beloved St. Charles, right next to the Uncle Mike HQ. Uncle Mike, what's catching your eye out there in the markets today, sir?
So why do you think of me for average inventions? AI? I mean, I don't get it. What are you talking about? Why are my inventions average?
Here's our beyond par, sir.
Got it. Okay, now I get it. Because isn't that what AI means? Average inventions? I don't know what the big deal of all this stuff is. But anyway, in looking at the markets today, last week, of course, we had a really big week in the markets, hitting new all-time highs. We actually hit a new all-time high live on the option block on Thursday. That was exciting. That doesn't always happen. But Friday, we hit 72.72 in the S&P 500, so we're roughly 1% off the all-time highs as we speak. We pulled back about 0.5% off of it on Friday. We're down about another 0.5%, only another 1/3% now. Apparently, my buying cabal has come on board. So when you're going up as fast as we have, you're going to get some pullbacks, and when we've gone up as fast as we have for the month of April, you're going to get some pullbacks, and I wouldn't even consider this a pullback, quite frankly, 27 points. So I think that we're just the market's kind of catching its breath, so to speak, on this rally. I still think there's a lot of reasons to believe the market is going to continue to go higher based on AI. Based on a lot of things, quite honestly. When we do get control in Iran, what that looks like, it's difficult to say, but so long as we are in control, the markets typically seem to like it. Some other things that we're seeing right now, silver is down 3% on the day. Gold is down a little over 1.5% on the day. Not major moves by any means, but that was the hot topic about 3 or 4 months ago with SLV north of 100. But now we have it the mid 60s again. So things are getting back to normal, I would say, in the precious metals, if you will. And then in the bond space, not getting a ton of movement today, but we are getting a little bit of selling going on in bonds today. So I think that in a few more months, interest rates are going to be the hot topic, if you will. I'm hoping that Iran is not the hot topic anymore, because that means some stuff will be settled and we don't have to have that going on anymore. But of course, you never know. So we do have that. The thing that I'd like to point out today that is kind of catching my eye, if you followed Qualcomm, that for those of you that listened to the show last week, that was the one that we, as Mark likes to hear, we cut a fat hog in the butt by selling $6 worth of premium on a $138 stock. But the stock then proceeded to go up very significantly. Today, it is down almost 5%. And so to give you an idea of the path of Qualcomm over the course of the last, say week or so, since just looking at it here, on April 29th, it was at 156. Now keep in mind, April 23rd, we're at 132. A week later, April 29th, we're at 156. Peaks out to 186, and now we're back down to 168. The reason that I mention this is that our form of risk management, if you will, for Qualcomm, of what we're doing with this right now, we're not doing anything. The premium has been so high that we couldn't buy back and then sell the stock at the 138 level where we sold the covered call. And so right now we're just kind of sitting on it. Now, is there a chance that it's going to go back down to the high 130s over the course of the next few days? Or I'm sorry, over the next week and a half till expiration? Yeah, it's possible, but we're not counting on that. We are planning on getting called away with it. But just have the understanding that when you get major gap ups and major moves like that, you're going to get pretty decent sized pullbacks. So Qualcomm on April 23rd literally closed at 133.95. And then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 trading days later, it goes up to 186, and now it's back to 168. So have an understanding that just because the stock moves doesn't mean it's going to stay there, so to speak. And there are opportunities for pullbacks at times when things happen. In terms of just some other things that are catching my eye real quick on the day before I turn it back over to our MC Longo, Russell 2000 down 0.6 on the day. So that is kind of in its own world, and that's down a little bit more on the day. And then in terms of any stocks that we're looking at or that are on my radar, if you will, nothing is sticking out in any major way. We do have advanced micro devices. That's down 16 handles on the day, down a little over 4%, but that seems to be kind of par for the course these days. But everything else is kind of behaving itself or acting within its normal range, if you will. So, just not a lot happening, but I am happy that I was able to talk the market up a few points while I was talking. We'll see if the option block indicator holds true and S&P's positive by the end of the hour.
If it doesn't, they'll have to kick you out of the cabal, revoke your founding charter status membership, sir. I don't know. How would you feel about that? Kicked you out of the cabal. You have to become a bear like a lot of the other people. Like you'll have to become a bear like Dr. Vix. What do you say to that?
Oh man, that would make me sad. I'm not a bear. I'm a bull.
You'll be buying Yang all day and calls on it just like him. The 3X
Oh my
inverse China
goodness.
ETF.
Oh my goodness. I couldn't even imagine doing something like that.
You'll
That just
you'll be
sounds.
you'll be on here
Oh.
all day talking Yang nonstop, sir. That'll be the new Uncle Mike's. Look forward to that once he gets kicked out of the cabal. All right, let's see if these markets are kicking around any flow today. The answer is yeah, they're looking pretty decent. You know, a little bit of red, again, a color Uncle Mike and his cabal kids are not really that accustomed to. So when they see it on the screen, they get a little nervous, and some volume does kind of peak in there because the market's not up 1%. I don't think they know what to do with their hands because they've already bought enough. So let's go out there and see. Yeah, 408,000 contracts. That doesn't sound like a lot, but we haven't been this active this time of the show, I should say, in VIX in a while. If you looked at the numbers from last week, if you listened to vol views, you know, last week was a pretty anemic volume week on the VIX options fronts. And so far looking a wee bit better out there. 408,000 contracts. The ADV right around 923. We'll see if it stabilizes north of 900,000. If these numbers keep coming, then it's going to keep going back down, which again, yet another sign that the market just don't give an F about anything outside of what's going on with the server farms here in the US. Because as I've said many times, when VIX options ADV is hanging out around 1 million contracts, you got to sit up and take notice. And we are retreating off that level right now. Like we said, 408,000 contracts in VIX land right now. The hot option, such as it is in VIX today, is actually a respectable number. It's 52,000 of the May 35s. If you're wondering what are those going for, about a quarter, about 25 cents. Looks like paper might be selling those. Looks like they could be bailing on these because there is OI on the strike. So somebody could be deciding, you know what, 35 strike anywhere in the vicinity by May expiration, not in the cards. Let's get my quarter, get what I have left, and get the heck out of Dodge. That's number one. Let's do a quick top five while we're at it. Number two, 32,000 of the SEP 22s. I bet you didn't have that one on your bingo card. Those are trading for $3.70. So if you want 22 level upside all the way through September, it's going to cost you $3.70. Up to you whether you think that's a bargain or whether you think that's highway robbery. But that is somebody opening on those. Looks like they were buying them. So that's a lot of SEP upside. When we talked in the past about long-term upside in VIX and whether or not that's the way you want to go, but looks like somebody's putting nearly $4 to work doing just that. Number three, 25,000 of the May 23 halves. Number four, 21,000 of the May 25s. And number five, 19,000 of the June 40s, 4 O's. If you're wondering, 54 cents for those bad boys. SPY is SPY active. You know it is. Whenever there's red on the screen, again, the cabal kids, they run amok like chickens with their hair on fire. 7 million contracts on the tape and SPY. The ADV 11.9 million. I think I mixed my metaphors. I don't think chickens really have hair, but let's say that little top of the rooster's head. That's what's burning. There we go. The S 3.3 million. You could tell I'm not Uncle Mike with my farm metaphors. The S 3.3 million. The ADV 5 million. So the S getting within spitting distance already of a day's worth of volume, and same thing with SPY. So again, the major indices are definitely saying something is up out there today. The small caps, 1.35 million. As Uncle Mike just alluded, small caps kind of getting the bit in their teeth to the downside. They like to lead the markets in whatever direction they're going. Today, it's to the downside and putting up some flow, 1.35 million contracts on the tape in small caps today. The ADV 1.7, so they could easily be there by the end of the show. And the Qs 3.75 million, the ADV 6.6 million out there. So NASDAQ also looking decently active, not quite as spicy as we've seen it recently, well over 4 million contracts this time of the show, but within spitting distance. Is it a spicy day, though? I can hear a lot of you asking. Is it a spicy day in single name equity options? The answer is yes, it's looking respectable. We were north of 500K, north of 500,000 just last week. We're not quite there. Of course, it was mega crazy earnings week. A lot of stuff popping off last week. We don't quite have all of that in the docket this week. No Fed, but we are making up for some lost time. 418,000 contracts on the tape. That gets you to the Rock Lobster's newest beloved holding. This is Nokia, as the Finns say. Actually selling off today, 11 cents, trading 13.19. We've been talking about Nokia for a while on shows like Options Oddities. There has been a lot of flow for a while saying, hey, something's up in Nokia. If you've been listening to shows like Oddities, you were hearing it pretty early. Number 9, it's the artist formerly known as Facebook. Yes, it's Meta. 440,000 contracts on the tape for them. Meta rallying $2.55 to trade 611.40. So even a Strait of Hormuz dust up can't keep a good Meta down. Number 9, 440 on the tape for Meta. Number 8, Intel. I mean, this name. What more can be said about this name other than WTF at this point? Intel. Just absolutely insane. I don't recognize this new iteration of Intel. It's wild. It's an untamed beast. Selling off actually today. It can sell off. $2.50 trading 97.14. So it has to sell off, about 50 handles, if not 60, close to it, to get back to where it was just about a month ago. Wild stuff in Intel. Number 8, 453. This par strike Intel, I don't even know what to do with that. I don't recognize Intel at these levels. It's wild. As a former market maker out there, this just kind of makes me laugh. Number 7, it's GameStop, 507 on the tape. Are we back at that portion of the show? Oh, GameStop wants to buy eBay. I guess I missed that one in transit to the Southern studio. There we go. Two business models from, let's say, the late 90s, early 2000s coming together like Voltron. Okay, I guess it's certainly got more long-term upside than whatever the hell GameStop's doing right now. 24.60 off about $2 or 7.25%. Good for number 7, GameStop, 507 on the tape. Number 6, it's Mr. Softy. Is Mr. Softy looking sweet, looking hot today? The answer is yes, unless you don't think 14 cents to the upside is sexy and hot. But then again, if you're a Microsoft bull, you'll take any green right now at this point because you've had a bit of a rough start to the year. 414.5, actually ticking up about 28 cents now. Good for number 6, 517,000 contracts. On the tape for Mr. Softy. Number 5, keeping it an M tech name. This is another one, put this in the bucket with Intel of just absolutely insane, wild dogs just on the rampage. It's Micron, up another nearly $40, $39.16, trading 581.45. Good for number 5, 523 on the tape. I mean, what are we doing out here? Listen, it's wild stuff. Number 3, we're going out to the land of the Amazonians. What's up with Amazon? They're putting up nearly 800,000 contracts today, and they're also up about 2.25, trading 270.5 right now, listeners. So a decent day out there for Amazon. Number 2, it's Tesla. What's up in good old Tesla? A little bit upside, up $2.40, trading 393.21, putting up 2.43 million contracts for the number 2 spot. And the big dog today, it's NVIDIA, not looking as big ever since they kissed that new all-time high of 216.83. They've pretty much printed nothing but red. It's been kind of wild. Off again, $1.15, 197.30. It's also been wild to see the market just rally so aggressively on the teeth of NVIDIA continuing to sell off. We don't see that too often where they're moving in opposite directions, but NVIDIA has been doing that for the better part of the last week, ever since they hit that new all-time high, while the market, except for today, has pretty much done an upward rally. Either way, number 1, NVIDIA, 2.5 million contracts so far today. Since we're talking the numbers, we do have the numbers in our hot little hands from our friends over there at OCC for April. Was April a banger? I think it was. The question is, how much of a banger was it? Last April was 1.27 billion. I almost said million. 1.27 billion contracts with a B. Listen, that was a very hot level. It wasn't that long ago. Breaking a billion was a real big deal. Now it's kind of just table stakes. In fact, if you're not at that about 1.25 billion, people think, what's wrong with you? And April of this year exceeded that 1.44 billion contracts. That's up nearly 14% from the year before. Equity options, nearly 750 million contracts. That's up 19.5%. ETF options, 589 million, up about 6%. And index options, 133.6 million. That's up nearly 24%. The lone dark spot, once again, is futures. So apparently VIX futures, no joy for them, off about 28.4%, down from about 6.5 million in April of last year to 4.6 million this year. So interesting stuff. You can find all that. We tweeted out. OCC has all that data. As well as we keep rolling, it is time to get wild. It is time to get on.
It's time to break down the most interesting, unusual, and downright questionable options activity that's been identified by theoptionsinsider.com. It's time for the Odd Block.
All right, let's boo this, as the kids say, as we go on out to. I'm feeling it here in the Southern studio today, listeners. What is on our docket today for odd blocking? Let's see. Let's go pull it up together, shall we, listeners? All right, here we go. Let's kick it off. What is lighting up our Eye of Sauron today? And first up, we have a name we just talked about not too long ago. I'll have to go check to see. I think it was on Oddities. This is Aurora Innovation Inc., ticker symbol AUR, trading $6.50, up about 36 cents or nearly 6% today. So a decent little day to be innovating in the city of Aurora. That's not exactly what they do. Obviously, they are a self-driving technology company, if you're not aware, listeners, based in Pittsburgh, actually. So a little bit of a tease, not in Aurora, Illinois. On the year, though, it's been a rough year. They're still off $1.30 or nearly 17%. Their high was about 8.20, almost exactly a year ago. So it's been pretty much nothing but selling off until April 9th. April 9th is when they got the big turnaround signal, apparently, in Aurora. They were $4, pretty much exactly. Since then, they've rallied $2.50. So a nice little pop here for Aurora Innovation. They have a truck expansion plan, driverless truck expansion plan. So there we go. So something kicking off, whether it's a partnership or an investment or some announcement, good earnings back in mid-April that really kind of turned their fortunes around, apparently. And they're having a nice little run here as a result. What do we spot out there today? You know, it's calls, listeners. This is a question of where and when. And today it is the Jan 11. Somebody came in and said, how are they? They got a decent market considering these are January calls that are nearly 100% out of the money. And they got 45 cents at 60 for these things. They said, you know what, good sir, I like the cut of your jib. I will pay 60 cents, 7,259 times. The stock was pretty much right about here when these went up, 653. It's obviously going to include some earnings. The next announcement is actually coming up in a couple of days. So if you just wanted earnings, you didn't need to go all the way out to Jan, but looks like they did. So Jan 11's Mr. Rock Lobster, we'll start there. What are your thoughts? Are you familiar with this Aurora Innovation and their driverless tech? Easy for me to say. And then what are your thoughts on these calls lighting it up today, sir? This is the portion of the show where the Rock Lobster talks,
Where
and I rest my voice.
I have my video. I have my video on, but not my mic.
I'm the one who's in the traveling studio. I'm supposed to have the technical problems, not you.
But all of the listeners know that no matter where you are or where I am, I will forget to hit the mute button.
That is part of your brand now.
It sadly enough. Again, calls out to January. The hardest thing about calls out to January is they're calls out to January. So you gotta hold on to them, good, bad, or indifferent. But you know what? These are, I would say, they are reasonable calls, meaning you got some time. The stock could make a move. So I don't think they're the worst purchase out there, and there's substantial open interest out there. So somebody with some money has bought over 100,000 calls in January 2027 in Aurora Innovation. So someone out there likes them. So it's a very early stage company, but and of course they've got very stiff competition. Uh, Tesla being one, Mobileye being another, and basically so many Chinese driverless vehicles right now. So I haven't really seen many Chinese cars in the US yet, but anyway, very, very interesting. So again, it's got a shot. I would say this is one of those things, the price is right. Cheap option, decent chance for the underlying to go up.
I don't hate it. You're right. I mean, you're getting some time, which is nice. I don't hate the duration as much as it just is obviously not going to kick in right away. But yeah, it's weird. I have to go look and do a little bit more digging. I think we did talk about some oddities, what the catalyst was for the big turnaround back on April 9th. But they do seem like they're having a good run. That is not something you could say for our next name, Mr. Rock Lobster. This is a Viceroy special, if ever there was one. This is our old pal Xerox. I haven't talked about Xerox in, I think, literally forever on the show. They're trading 260 off about a dime. But you know the long-term story. I don't even need to pull up the chart to know what the long-term trajectory of Xerox is. I think you do too, listeners. When's the last time you went and really hit the copiers for size copying? Not a lot of that going on anymore. And the printing, all that space kind of going the way of the dodo. And that is reflected yet again in this chart, off another $2.50 or about 50% just this year. They did kiss nearly a 7 handle. Looks like they had a nice little uptick in July from about $4.50 up to nearly 7 on July 23rd. Maybe good earnings, maybe some sort of infusion of capital. I don't know. But ever since then, it's been just more. But this chart looks like a long-term chart of VXX or something. Just value destruction for years here, listeners. So let's see what our eyes are on. Apparently, it's a hot day. It's a spicy day out there in Xerox. Apparently the folks are coming to play in Xerox options today. I saw a couple of prints going up within a minute or so of each other. So kind of interesting. They didn't. No, they're not. They're both openings. It's not a roll. It could be a time spread, I suppose. It'd be a funky one though. We first noticed about 5,000 of the June threes going up for 65 cents. The market was 55 at 70. They traded 65 cents. I think they were probably bound that they got a bid for 65 cents. That'd be a good bid in Xerox. They said I will buy those 5,000 times for 65 cents. And then within about a minute, we saw another print of the May 4s. So if it's a diagonal, it's a backwards kind of diagonal where you're above in the May. You don't see that too often. Those went up. Let's see, the market was 15 to 25. They lifted the offer pretty much on those too, about 25 cents for those. 4,004 times. So the volume is off, but again, they went up within about a minute of each other. So there was apparently a little bit of call palooza, a little bit of a call frenzy going up. Maybe they just needed upside deltas in Xerox and they didn't care where they got them. The stock was, well, they're already regretting these then. The stock was $3.10 when they bought so why would you looking at this chart, why would you chase any calls? This chart is an abomination. I gotta have these calls at 310. You know what happens? The stock's at 260 now. That's what happens. Wow. Oh wow. So yeah, these look like an ouchie, Mr. Rock Lobster, and not in the fun kind. So I don't know. I could have told you this. If you're chasing calls in Xerox, probably not going to end out well. I didn't think it would happen the same day. So apparently a bad day for call buying in Xerox, Mr. Rockland. What are your thoughts first off long term? When's the last time you even thought about Xerox? And then what do you think about these Viceroy special calls that are already in their faces?
Huh. You know what's funny? I used to trade Xerox like as a market maker a long time ago, and even then it was like in the 30s, and it's just like a slowly dying franchise. But what's funny is like the company actually has like cash. I don't get but I understand why somebody would want to take a flyer on the calls, and the volume today is absolutely absurd in there. And so again, maybe they're they got all kinds of other problems, but I don't think it's a terrible play, but I don't know how much Xerox has left in the tank, but the 3 calls are already kind of in their face a little bit, I have to say. So we don't like that as this first sniff test, but I guess the earnings were not great. And the stock got smacked. So, but I mean, the company, I had to look. Xerox still does $7 billion a year in revenue. So all those Xerox machines, somebody service them. The Xerox man is servicing them. He's going around fixing them. But it kind of reminds me of like the Maytag, but Maytag, I guess all that stuff is around too still, right? So anyway, an interesting. Clearly, they do not have AI anything with Xerox because it's just you have a piece of paper and then you got to copy the piece of paper. But anyway, I don't know about you, but I have a home printer and my HP printer always drives me crazy. So it's not like there isn't room to make a better printer. But
Well, I was just
digress.
looking, Mr. Rock Lobster, and you may have to eat those words because they had earnings today. They had a Q1 surprise, beat EPS 43 cents versus 27-cent estimates. But guess what they also did, Mr. Rock Lobster? Guess what they announced? They're pivoting to AI. It's going to be Xerox IT as a service, which more importantly is an AI-powered service platform. So there we go.
Wow.
They finally figured it out. Whisper the magical letters. What have I always said? 20% intraday, right? They got that. It was like it's coming right back down the other side now. So looks like these call lovers were all buying the turnaround narrative, Mr. Rocklop. They were in. They were drinking the Kool-Aid, Uncle Mike style. And this guy was buying the May 4s. So yes, they whispered the magical letters, Mr. Rocklops. Now the question becomes, can they deliver? If this intraday fade is to be believed, I guess the answer is a resounding no. But hey, congrats. You gave all these people who were looking to get out of some calls, maybe. You gave them some bids to hit. So there you go. As we keep rolling, let's do one more here. Let's go out to Immersion Corp Inc., ticker symbol IMMR. They make haptic feedback technology. So there you go. So that's the immersion, not immersion therapy or anything like that, but Immersion Corp, trading 644, up about a dime today. On the year, looks like a pretty rough year. They're net off about 80 cents or 11%. They were looking worse. They were down to about 5.25 just about a month ago, which was looking substantially worse. So they have rallied a bit since then. And what do we spot out there? Same deal, Mr. Rocklop. So somebody coming in saying, no 7.5s, how are they? They got 40 at 85 cents. They said, you know what? I will pay 75 cents, good sir. 3,000 times. Let's see. I don't see any earnings coming up. So they must have just announced recently, but obviously you're going to get at least one between now and November expiration. Mr. Rock Lobster, are you down for a little bit of Immersion Corp in your life, sir?
Immersion Corp in my life. Let's see here. IMMR. Wow, you're picking like the little stocks today. It's a weird volume day, so it's these little stocks get the call.
They come up. They come up sometimes. Sometimes you got to do some Viceroy specials, sir.
You do. I'm gonna say again. This is like, what is this? A little funky biotech.
They make
What's
a
haptic?
That's like if you touch your mouse pad and it vibrates. That's a haptic technology. The little motors that vibrate the things you touch.
Ah, okay. All right. Well, this is like a real. This is Actually, this is a real company. This has real. For the 7.5 to be 75 cents to November, I think this is very reasonable. To be quite honest, probably gotten snuffed out in the AI. Where they just killed everything that wasn't AI. That was technology. Probably was part of this company's problem. But yeah, I don't think these are unreasonable calls. Let's see, are they winning today? The number one day. Yeah, this is not a stock that is widely followed either. Yeah, they're still they're already down a nickel on them. Nothing like buying 3,000 calls for 75 cents, and then the market's offering them at 70 all you want right afterward. That's always feels special.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you for coming. But again, I think it's not an unreasonable price for options, we'll say.
You know what's always unreasonable? It's the strategy block. So let's get there now.
It's time to dispense options, wit, wisdom, and education. It's time for the Strategy Block.
All right, everybody. It's the time you've all been waiting for. Forget about these immersion corp calls and these Viceroy specials. I know you're all here for the Uncle Mike Palooza. That is the Strategy Block. So, Uncle Mike, have at it, sir. The floor is yours. And don't pull a rock lobster. Don't forget to unmute yourself.
I am well unmuted.
Okay, have at it, sir.
All right. So today I want to talk about time frame selection. Oftentimes when people sell covered calls, let's say the debate goes on, should I sell a weekly? Should I sell a monthly? Should I sell a 2-month option? What would make sense? Well, there's pros and cons to every time frame selection with which you sell. Now, let's just break it down very simple. The only reason that you would sell a further out time decay would be to get more premium. There's no other reason. Why would you obligate yourself for a longer period of time if you weren't going to get more money? So, with that being said, let's say that you want to go to the other extreme. Let's say you just want to sell daily options. Well, if God were to tell you that volatility was going to be the same and the price was going to be the same of the underlying, and everything that factors into an option price is going to stay the exact same for the next year, then you're best off just selling one-day options every day. You will make more money if you're doing that. Now, unfortunately, at least God doesn't tell me exactly where stock prices are going to go, at least not directly anyway. But you need to have a plan in case it doesn't stay the exact same over your time frame with which I just made up. So let's say that you do sell a one-day option. Right now, I am looking at the May 5th at the money call option, the 718 call option on SPY, and it's trading at $2.60 right now. I'm sorry, $2.80 right now. Roughly 20 cents of that is in the money, so you got $2.60 of time decay. Now, if you were to multiply that over the course of, say, 32 days, and I'll tell you why I'm using let's just say 25 days, sorry. So $2.60 times 25, now that's going to equal $65. So if you believe that the market's going to stay the exact same for the next 25 days, you could sell a 718 call, which right now I'm looking at, it's trading at $12.50, or you could sell the one-day option for the next 25 days and have $65 at the end of it, over 5 times the premium. So why on earth do you just not sell one-day options all the time? Well, here's why, at least from the covered call standpoint. Let's say that the stock goes against you today. It goes down $5. Well, if you have more premium that you locked in over the course of the month, it's more conservative and you have that premium helping you a little bit more because you got more premium for going out 25 days. Now, if the stock stays the same, well, then it doesn't really help you that much. And on top of that, you're going to have to be making these adjustments every day at a whim. Now, let's say the stock goes up 8%. Well, if that's the case, you would have gotten over $12 of premium on that 25-day call. You only got a little over $2 on the one-day call. So to sum it up, there's advantages and disadvantages of the time frame with which you select, and they would apply to any two time frames with which you want to compare. I think the simple way of looking at it is that if you want to be more conservative and get more for sure premium, go further out. However, if you feel that your sentiment is going to be where it's going to be for a few days, a couple of weeks, whatever the case may be, and you're willing to give up the guaranteed higher premium for a chance at getting more multiple day premiums, then go shorter term. Time frame selection is very important when selling premium. Make sure you understand it every step of the way. And that is the strategy block for May the 4th, and I hope it's with you.
Oh yeah, today is May the 4th, isn't it? Yes. Happy May the 4th. Go out there and do the force on everyone around you. They'll appreciate it. I guarantee you. Now, speaking of appreciate, we appreciate you folks as well. Let's get a real quick mail block on here as well.
It's time to take your seat on the All-Star panel as we read your emails, tweets, Facebook messages, website comments, and much more. It's time for the Mail Block.
All right, everybody, welcome to the Mail Block. If you're listening live, you're hearing the raw, rough audio straight into your ear holes here from the Southern studio. No transitions, none of the fancy stuff out here. I haven't had a chance to check in with our pro members on the chat, see what they're up to. A lot of chat about price of gas. I get it. It's expensive. A lot of folks looking at EVs now, Tesla and Rivian coming to mind. So a little bit of a uptick in interest for them. Yeah, that tends to work out that way when gas prices start to get a little bit spicy. A lot of folks interested in the AI pivot going on in Xerox. Mr. Rock Lobster. One of our chat members said that Rock Lobster used to trade Xerox back in the day, probably when he was slinging RCA and Standard Oil. If you want to defend yourself, have at it. Did you ever make markets in Standard Oil, sir?
I did not. I did not. Only when it was called Exxon. You know,
were out there.
they make.
How about RCA?
People just make fun of senior citizens. It's very sad. Very sad. I can't believe I'm a senior citizen. It's killing me.
That just brought a smile to my face. RCA and Standard Oil. Good. So, Uncle Mike, this will bring a smile to your face. We got a couple of minutes. We can devote a couple of minutes here at the end of the show. If you're out of the 80s wrestling, by all means, you can skip ahead, listeners. The folks want to know, Uncle Mike, what did you think of the Hogan documentary?
I mean, I thought they left some things out, but I mean, overall, what I came to learn from, not learn, I mean, I pretty much knew a lot of this already, is that Hulk Hogan, he is a real American. He is the epitome of what America is all about. Terry Bollea, I'll just say not so much. I thought they captured some memories pretty well. I really didn't, whenever I watch those, I really don't care about the personal lives of the wrestlers that much. I'd rather just see some of the highlights of the interviews and things like that. So it was like, it made me kind of think of the Ric Flair documentary a few years ago, or the Ric Flair, I think it was the 30 for 30, about 7 or 8 years ago. And it was kind of disappointing to where it wasn't really about the wrestling. It was just about how it was a human being out of the ring. He was kind of a degenerate. And so I kind of got that feel with the Hulk Hogan documentary. Don't get me wrong, I liked watching it, but I don't want to see my heroes. I don't want to see the bad part of my boyhood heroes. I just like seeing their characters. So I guess that's kind of what I thought of it.
Yeah, the old saying, don't meet your heroes. I would say it is a fun documentary if you do want to get caught up. If you missed the 80s Hulkamania era and you want to see what it was like, that definitely does that. Just go in with your eyes open. This is a WWE produced documentary. So it's like state-owned TV. They tell the story they want to tell. And Hogan has never told the truth. I don't think ever come out of his mouth. That man lies out. And you can tell the second the documentary starts, he's lying. He says Dusty Rhodes was his great inspiration. Dusty's only a few years older than him. He wasn't as a teen, as a little kid, 9 years old, going to the Florida wrestling and watching Dusty. I don't think Dusty was even in the territory.
Well, so that's hold on, but real quick, but he actually did try and act like Dusty Rhodes in his early years and did a bad job of it.
I'm sure he did try. He did try to borrow from a lot of people, but the notion that like Dusty Rhodes was his inspiration when he was 9 years old, sitting at home watching wrestling, I don't think time works that way. But you know what? That's the least of the Hogan lies. They omit the entire Japanese era. They forget that Hogan and Andre actually fought multiple times, including, I believe, in Shea Stadium before the big infamous WrestleMania 3 slam. I was surprised they do get into some of the warts and all stuff at the end. Like his last appearance in WWE, he was booed out of the building, and that was about a year ago, not even. So his last interaction with WWE fans was not a positive one. So kind of interesting. The guy himself, a disaster.
With that though, that was right after he supports Trump, and then you go out to LA. You're probably not going to make a lot of friends doing that.
That didn't help. But if you listen to even the Triple H in that documentary, he said there was a lot more to it than that. Even he admitted that. It doesn't sound like he was a big fan of good old Terry either. If you listen to that a little bit, so a lot of interesting stuff there. The guy, a disaster. But the Hulk Hogan character, obviously first ballot Mount Rushmore guy. There is nothing else without Hulk Hogan. So yeah, it's wild stuff, but fun stuff. Just don't go to it for any sort of truth. Go to it for the veneer of Hulk Hogan through the lens of WWE, and you'll have a fun time. As we have a fun time going around the block.
It's time to tell you what we'll be watching on our trading screens until the next episode. It's time for Around the Block.
All right, everybody, welcome to Around the Block. Thank you for honoring that little fun 80s segue, 80s wrestling. We don't get a chance to do it much here on the show anymore. That was kind of, and I did just watch the final part of the doc over the weekend. It's 4 parts, listen, it's really a commitment. It's surprising how much they left out with how long the thing is. They couldn't fit in any about the Japan stuff or any of the other real stuff, but I digress. Let's go out there. Makes me interested, though, for what they can do, like a macho document, something like that would be. And Jake the Snake, all that would be kind of interesting. Let alone, they've done Warrior a few times, but that's another one, warts and all. Speaking of warts and all, this market's still looking red at the end of the show, listeners. Down about 0.9% in the Dow. The S&P only off about 1/3%, though. So maybe Uncle Mike's cabal is starting to work their buying finger again. A NASDAQ only off 0.1%, so that could tick green at any time. VIX cash down about an 18.25, so giving up about 1/2 to 3/4 of a point from where it was at the start of the show. So if you're long some vol, maybe like last week, getting rid of it at the start of the morning was the right play. But let's go around the horn. Mr. Rock Lobster, start with you, sir. What are you keeping an eye on for the rest of the week?
Well, do we have any earnings anymore? Do we have any Fed anymore? Do we have anything anymore? No, we got the Strait of Hormuz. Back and forth, is Live Golf. They canceled Live Golf after 3 years. I don't know. I think right now
that should tell you the Strait thing has some teeth. When the Saudis are running low on cash, that should tell you something's cooking.
Then there could be something there. So, just saying. A lot of money is still flowing into stocks. Today, everybody's taking a little breather after a huge, by any measure, a giant rally. So my guess is this is going to be a fairly quiet week, unless there is a good or bad surprise out of the Persian Gulf. Most of the economic data is like, everybody knows we got higher oil prices now, so inflation's going to be up there, So when there's not a lot of surprises, now we got to wait for a surprise. I think that's what we got.
Well, you asked about earnings. There are still big earnings popping off this week, including a big one after the bell for Uncle Mike, Palantir. I think that's his largest holding. He's 10,008%, I believe, all in on Palantir. Tuesday, we got AMC and AMD. That's a big one, as well as MSTR, Uncle Mike's other biggest holding. The Diz, a.k.a. Disney, on Wednesday, Beyond Meat and WBD on Wednesday. Thursday, we got Mickey D's and Coinbase and DraftKings. So there are some big ones still popping off. Uncle Mike, you got all eyes glued to Palantir after the bell, sir?
Well, let me tell you something, brother. I'll definitely be watching the earnings this week for sure. And then just continuing to watch the numbers for the all-time highs. And it would not surprise me if the surprise could come from the interest rate realm in some way, shape, or form. That would not surprise me. The surprise is coming. We just don't know when and where.
Can you imagine if this guy they appointed to do one job out of the gate hikes rates? Can you imagine how fast Trump would fire and or proceed with criminal charges against him? Be so fast it would make his head hurt. And that little toss you made about Hogan made me think in the outro here, Mr. Uncle Mike. One thing I did come out of that documentary positive about Hogan. He doesn't get the love for the promos that he probably should. He was a pretty decent on the mic. And that stuff was not scripted back then. That was all them. So he doesn't get the love. I mean, he would do a lot of the crutches, let me tell you, brother, all that stuff. But he was pretty decent on the mic. As a guy who lives on the mic myself, I can at least appreciate. All right, and that's going to do it for us on the old OB from the Southern Studio. Going to be a lot of fun stuff coming at you from the Southern Studio this week, so stay tuned for it. I'm going to be chatting with Dan live in person in the Southern Studio, so a live boot camp from the Southern Studio at the OIC conference. Yes, he's down here. I'll be talking to the Flow Master as well. They'll be doing a live option block on Thursday from the Southern Studio, as well as a whole bunch of guests coming in between. Who's going to join me? Well, you got to tune in to find out. That's part of the fun of OIC. But before we go, around the horn we go. Mr. Rock Lobster, who's joining you this week? What fun do you have planned for us?
Oh yeah, come to optionbit.com if you want to be flashed or join the series club. We are ready to go.
I prefer flashing myself.
Yes, it was more fun. Also, I saw something about Trade Alert? Is that still happening in the Seaboard? Do they put that all into? Is there an announcement there? Or is it all into LiveVol now?
That's a big question. I will have to put to the Flowmaster on Thursday. Apparently, it does seem like his baby, the thing he created with his own two hands, and has been running for pretty much 20 years, that he sold to SIBO. Looks like it is getting wound down. So I do want to hear the specifics of that. I will be talking to the Flowmaster this week, so I'm sure he'll give us the scoop. But I'm using Trade Alert right now as you speak. I use it all the time. So that is an unwelcome development, to put it mildly, out there. Mr. Uncle Mike, sir, what are you up to, and where should folks reach out to you if they want to know more? Or maybe talk about the Hogan doc.
Well, for sure. I mean, you can go to stcharleswealth.com, book an appointment with me, because if you're a client at St. Charles Wealth, you're a client for life. And everyone knows that when you're on the option block, it's just too sweet.
All right, since you're talking wrestling, really quickly, who's the next wrestler you want to see the big doc about, the big biopic?
I mean, I don't think they've done one. I mean, for Netflix, they haven't done one on the Road Warriors. But I mean, if we had to do a single one, I think I'd go with the Macho Man. Of course, everyone knows my favorites of all time are the Road Warriors. But for a single one on Netflix, I'd go with the Macho Man, I think.
Surprisingly, there hasn't really been a big Macho one. He's so recognized. He's arguably up there with Hogan. So that's surprising they haven't done him yet. So I think he's probably the next one. That would be certainly a fun one, and a lot of warts and all there too as well once you get into all the Miss Elizabeth fun. That's going to do it for us on the fun here on the show. Like we said, more coming at you from the Southern studio this week. Live schedule going to be a little bit disjointed as it's kind of up to the guest schedule, how we could. It's like herding cats down at these events, listeners, but we'll try to get you. We'll let you know on the live when stuff's coming out, and we're going to have a lot of fun stuff coming at you, so stay tuned. And then, of course, I'll be back with the Flowmaster in hand on Thursday. What's he going to tell us? I guess we're going to find out when we're back on the option block on Thursday. Stay safe out there, everybody.
Want a trading platform that was built by option traders for options traders? Then join Tasty Trade, Investopedia's best platform for options trading 2026. Get advanced charting with 100-plus indicators, options backtesting, a pre-built strategy selector, and more with your account. Join Tasty Trade today and earn a double commission rebate up to $3,000 total on your stock and ETF options trades for 30 days. Visit tastytrade.com/insider for more info. All applicable regulatory, exchange, and clearing fees still apply. Options involve risks and are not suitable for all investors. Learn more about Tasty Trade promo terms and conditions at tastytrade.com/double. Offer expires May 31st, 2026. Tasty Trade Incorporated is a registered broker-dealer and member of FINRA, NFA, and SIPC. You're listening to the Options Insider Radio Network, the home of the Options Podcast. For more quality options programs, visit theoptionsinsider.com or search for Options Insider Radio Network in your podcast provider of choice. Listeners can also access all of our programming through our mobile app available in the iTunes and Google Play stores. Select programs are also available via live stream at mixlr.com/options-insider. That's mixlr.com/options-insider. Don't forget to follow along with your favorite programs and submit your own questions for the hosts at twitter.com/options, stocktwits.com/options, facebook.com/theoptionsinsider, or via questions at theoptionsinsider.com.